Welcome class back to chapter 3, introducing lists. We are going to cover the last two objectives in this video, and they are organizing a list and avoiding index errors when working with lists. So list data can be collected in an unpredictable order. So sometimes we'll want to preserve the original list, and other times we'll want to update or change the original order. So we're going to look at a series of methods. Some are going to be permanent and some are going to be a temporary sort. So permanently updating the order, we can use the sort method. So in this example, you see BMW, Audi, Toyota, Subaru, so 4 elements in our cars list. And when we print it out, we get the output of our list, which is on our line 1 of our code. And then when we run cars.sort, it's permanently updating it and sorting it in alphabetical order. Now, if we want to do a reverse alphabetical order, so a descending sort, we would add in the argument reverse equal true. And notice that true is in title case, so meaning the first letter is uppercase. So now just reversed order, okay, from the back of the alphabet. If we want to maintain the original order, we use the sorted with ed method. So this is just a temporary sort. So here we have the example, same list, right? We run a print on cars, and then we run print sorted cars, and then we run cars, a print of it again. So here in the output, what you see is, here is the original list, okay? Here's the original list, printing out cars, okay? And then we have, here is the sorted list, as you expected, alphabetical order. But then when we run or print out the original list again, notice it's the same order that it was very in the beginning, because it's a temporary sort. So whenever you see a method that's within a print statement, just know that it is a temporary type of sort. So if I jump back a slide, I can show you that here there's two separate statements. So if it's a permanent update, okay, you're going to do an object.method or object.method, okay, syntax, and then you're going to print out that object following it. When we're in a temporary, we have to do the print, okay, of the method with the object. In this case, it's the object of the list cars, all in one line. Okay, you can't run it in a separate way. If I put sorted cars on one line, it won't save it, okay? You won't even, because it's not saved because it's temporary. So the print statement has to be wrapped around sorted cars. But in the previous one where it was permanent, okay, we have to have them on two separate lines. You can't say print cars.sort. It doesn't work. You will get an error, okay, either that an error or the value of none. And it's simply because this has to do its permanent update step first, so that then we can go ahead and see the new output of the list. Print a list in reverse order using the reverse method. So reverse does not mean that it's sorting backwards alphabetically, coming from the letter Z and going to the letter A. It means it's taking the values that are currently in the list, okay, and sorting them in reverse order. So in this case, the output is going to be Subaru, Toyota, then Audi, then BMW. And again, notice here that it's a permanent update, okay, because we got these two statements on two separate lines. If I want to work with the length of a list, I use the length or the len method, and then I just supply the argument of the object, in this case the list name cars. And lastly, we will look at avoiding index errors when working with lists. So in this example, when we say motorcycles 3 index number, maybe we're thinking that we're trying to point to Suzuki, but that's index 2, because reminder, 0, 1, and 2. We start from the index of 0. So you'll get this index error, okay, in our traceback, and it says list index out of range. So as you're working through your 3, 4, 6, and 7, okay, if you get this, just know that you're trying to point to an index that does not exist at that moment. So you might not have to back it up one or two index numbers. So now let's go ahead and look at our last lab, which is 3.8, Seeing the World. So think of at least 5 places in the world you'd like to visit and store those locations in a list. Make sure that that list is not in alphabetical order, and then print your list in original order. Don't worry about printing the list neatly, just print it as a raw Python list. Now what raw Python list means is that when you print it out, you'll have your square brackets in your output. So let's go ahead and do these first 2 steps in our 3-8 lab. I've created a new file, 3-8, and created a list called places, given it 5 values, okay, and that's the requirements of the lab. Then we're going to go ahead and do a couple print statements. So what I want to show you is these print statements. This lab is very, very specific as to how I want you to lay out the output. Okay, so here is a print statement, and you saw this in your lecture material. Here is the original list, okay, and then we want to print it out. Now I added in a escape character, the \t that we talked about in chapter 2, just to create the indentation. So let's go ahead and run this file so that you can see the output. Okay, so here is the original list, okay, and then again a raw output of our list. Okay, third bullet, use sorted to print your list in alphabetical order without modifying the actual list. So just a reminder, sorted is the one that is a temporary. Okay, the ones down here, reverse and sort, those are our permanent updates to our list. So use sorted to print the list in alphabetical order without modifying the actual list. Okay, so with those 2 statements added in, okay, so here's the original list in temp sorted order. So you need to provide these print statements to me above the outputs of the list values so that I know what it's referring to. Okay, nice documentation. I'm actually going to remove this comment. This particular lab, I'm not going to require the 2 code comments because your print statements are going to be doing that commenting for you. Okay, and that's called self-commenting. Okay, so this one again, sorted places is the name of the list. Let's go ahead and run this update. Okay, so if we look down here at the bottom, we see now we are in alphabetical order. Okay, and then jumping back to our lab requirements, it says in the 4th bullet, show that the list is still in its original order by printing it. Okay, and then we'll look at the next bullet. Okay, so we can go ahead and come back here, okay, and run that statement and see that at the bottom that we have the same list output as the first one as is the 3rd one, because again this is a temporary sort. Okay, 5th bullet. 5th bullet. Use sorted to print your list in reverse alphabetical order without changing the order of the original list. Okay, so this is one that was not talked about in the chapter material. So you'll need to do a Google search of how to use sorted using the reverse parameter. Now we did that with sort, okay, so it's very similar, okay, but just do a Google sort on or Google search on that sort. So I'm going to go ahead and just add that in here. Okay, so we'll do here in temp sorted order, and I'm going to say temp sorted reverse order, and I'm going to put that in all caps. Okay. Okay, and now I'm going to put a comment in that says that you need to Google how to do that. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go down through the rest of the requirements. Show the list, show that your list is still in the original order by printing it again. Use reverse to change the order of the list and then reverse it back. Okay, and then we're going to do some permanent sorts. Again, continuing to use our print statements to go ahead and label, okay, label our output. Okay, so I want to see a nice output that you see here on the screen. Okay, so that is chapter 3. So if you have any further questions, please let me know.